Hey, I'm Steve Kingston, Product Manager for Titus Labs. In this upcoming video, we're going to discuss how Titus Labs desktop solutions for email and documents can be used to fulfill military marking requirements, including the CAPCO standard. You'll see how users can apply uniform, consistent, and comprehensive markings to email and documents with little or no knowledge of regulatory marking standards. Correct markings will help to reduce information handling errors and promote cross-domain sharing. Once you watch the video, click on the Book a Live demo link to learn more from one of our security and compliance experts.
We'll start our demonstration in Word 2007, where we'll use Titus Labs document classification to mark a new document. Before we can save or print this document, we'll be prompted to classify, so we can force the users to classify their documents. A classification pop-up message appears, as we see here when we click Save. We'll start by selecting the document's overall security classification. We'll choose Confidential. This opens up an additional drop-down where we can select the dissemination controls. We call this feature Guided Classification because the user is guided through the classification process. The user may have little or no knowledge of the marking standards that apply to their environment, but they always see the latest labels and are guided into choosing the correct combinations. From the Dissemination Controls list, we'll choose Rel2. This opens up a list of countries that we can select from. We'll select USA and Australia. Next, we'll look at the declassification labels. First, we'll confirm that this is a derivatively classified document. Then we'll enter the document name for Derived From. As you can see, we can select documents from the drop-down, but we can also just type in the document name, which we'll do now. Finally, we'll look at the declassification date. The default is 10 years, and the software calculates the date for us. But we could also manually enter a date, or we could add another time frame such as 25 years. We'll just leave the default as 10 years though. All of these labels are configurable by the administrator. After clicking OK, the document is saved. Now we'll have a look at the visual aspects of the document. Document classification has inserted visual labels to the header, footer, and watermark, as you can see here. This is all configurable. The administrator can decide exactly how these visual labels should appear. This ensures that all documents have consistent markings that comply with the organization's marking standards. Visual labels are excellent tools for promoting proper information handling among users. However, much of the value in classification lies in machine-readable metadata. Document classification generates classification metadata in the Microsoft Office custom properties. We'll go into the custom properties now, where you can see the labels that we just created. These standard metadata properties can be read by our email classification product, Titus Labs Message Classification, so that classified documents are not accidentally sent out through email. In addition, the metadata can be read by other infrastructure solutions, such as content scanners. For example, in the case of the U.S. military environment, a content scanner could search for secret documents on the NIPRNet. Next, you'll see how you can mark individual portions of a document with Titus Labs. By marking individual sections, such as paragraphs, lists, and tables, you can identify particularly sensitive portions of an email or document. This helps to protect the information and prevent unintentional declassification in military environments. First, we position the cursor where we want to add the portion markings. Then we right-click and select Add Portion Mark. This brings up a classification window where we can select the classification from the easy-to-use pick list. In this case, we'll select Secret and then No Foreign. Once we select the classification, the portion markings are added to the document. The format matches whatever your marking policy requires. For example, in this case, Secret has been abbreviated to S and the portion marking is surrounded by round brackets. This is completely customizable to meet your own marking policies. Notice that in addition to the portion markings, a second thing has happened. The document itself has been upgraded to Secret No Foreign. Titus Labs ensures that the overall document classification matches or exceeds the highest portion marking. This helps to prevent unintentional declassification. Now we'll switch over to Outlook 2007, where we'll mark emails using Titus Labs Message Classification. Like you saw with document classification, we'll be able to apply uniform, consistent, and comprehensive markings with little or no knowledge of regulatory marking standards like CAPCO. We'll start with a new email. Before we can send this email, we'll be prompted to classify. When we click Send, a classification pop-up message appears. We'll select an overall classification of confidential, and then we'll be guided through the remaining markings. As always, these classification markings are completely configurable by the administrator. Notice as we get to the bottom of the window that we are prompted to specify a classification for the subject. This is an optional feature for those organizations who may want to classify the subject differently from the overall email classification. We'll select Unclassified in this case. After clicking OK, the email is sent. Now we'll open the email we just sent and we'll have a look at the visual aspects of the email. Titus Labs Message Classification has inserted visual labels at the top and bottom of the email, as you can see here. There are also markings in the subject line, and we've even added a dynamic disclaimer at the end. This is all completely configurable by the administrator, who can decide exactly what markings should be added to the email. This ensures that all emails have consistent markings that comply with your organization's marking standards. Next, you'll see how you can mark individual portions of an email. Let's forward the email we just sent. We'll add some text and then we'll portion mark it by clicking the portion marking button. This brings up the classification window where we can select the classification from the pick list. In this case, we'll select Secret and then No Form. Once we select the classification, the portion markings are added to the email. The format matches whatever is specified by your organization's marking policy. In addition, just like document classification, the overall email classification has been upgraded to the highest portion marking, which is Secret, No Foreign. Now let's look at a couple of ways that message classification prevents email spillage. This email is currently classified as Secret, No Foreign, meaning no foreign nationals should receive it. We can prevent this email from leaving the organization by simply having the software check the recipients before it goes. To show that, I'll enter an external address here and click Send. Message classification immediately detects that there are external recipients on this message and provides us with a warning. In this way, the user is warned before the email even leaves the desktop, and a potential data spill is avoided. You'll see here that we do have the option to send this email anyway, but that is configurable. The administrator may decide not to provide this option or to provide it to only certain trusted users. You've just seen our Trusted Domains feature, which checks the email domain of users before sending the email. Message classification can also check recipients based on their Active Directory attributes or group membership. This feature can be used to check recipient clearances and nationality before sending. Message classification can also check email attachments. To see that, let's start a new email. First, we'll attach the document that we saved during the document classification part of this demo. Then we'll add a recipient and we'll click Send. The classification pop-up window appears where we can select the email classification. We'll select Unclassified and then we'll select a CUI marking. Then we click OK. Message classification immediately detects that the email's classification is lower than the document's classification. The document we attached is actually a secret document, which should not be going out in an unclassified email. In this case, the administrator has configured the warning so that we must fix the problem before we can send. We can tell message classification to upgrade the email for us so that the classifications match and the email is marked and handled appropriately. Or we can return to the message and remove the document. That's the end of our demonstration in Outlook and Word 2007. Titus Labs classification products are supported on both Office 2003 and 2007 and work with Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. We also have solutions for Outlook Web Access, mobile devices, and SharePoint. To schedule a full demo or obtain a free trial for your organization, please email us at info@tituslabs.com. You can also view more product information on our website, including additional demos and webcasts. Thank you.